All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Tall Tales channel. And today we are going to be running over my personal 2024 archery setup. The gear I'm going to be running, like what is right here, and my bino harness. We're going to go over my bow, my release, my arrow setup for this year. I am switching it up a bit. But we'll go ahead and start with what's in the harness, and I'll kind of take it off and we'll go over the bow and the arrows. So it's a Tidewee bino harness. I ran across it on Amazon one day and it was on sale, and I've been kind of wanting a bino harness anyway. So it actually ended up being really good. I think I got it for like 30 bucks, and just for, you know, basic stuff you need. It's got a rangefinder pouch, everything like that. It does what I need it to do. In here, I'll carry my release, which we will go over in a minute. And I carry a set of Simmons 10x50s, just nice, affordable glass. Not too big on spending a whole bunch of money for glass, or I mean, for no more than what I do. I'm mostly woods hunting, a little bit of field. You know, I'm not going to be looking at a mile to try to see something, so I don't need the super expensive stuff. Same thing with the rangefinder. I'm running the Halo XL45 this year. Actually, I started running it last year, so I've come to really enjoy it, and it's another good budget option if you're out looking for a rangefinder. This does have the magnetic flap up top, but normally I'll just run it with the string, because even with the string it's just boom, open. Plenty of room down here in the bottom. I can fit my phone. It's got a little pouch down here, put my release in. I really have been enjoying that. And zipper up front if you want to keep a set of forgot these were in here, set of Allen wrenches on you, which I highly recommend if you don't, because you never know when something can go wrong. But same thing over here on the rangefinder, just a little clip, just a little pull and release. Rangefinder's free. I would like to get some form of safety in case I was to drop my rangefinder. That is my only complaint, is it is the tiniest little hole to be able to tie something, so I may just take paracord and wrap it around it and tie it real tight and do something like that, but I haven't decided yet. So go ahead and take this off. So this year I'm running a completely different arrow setup. I started running at the same time I got the bow, so that would have been late November. I'm running a G5 Mark 203 300 spine with a 35 grain insert and a titanium outsert. I can't remember whether it's steel or titanium. I don't want to say either way. With blazer vanes, just the stock arrow, the way it came. I really do enjoy how these have, like I said, either the steel or titanium outserts for your nock and for your broadhead side. I just think it makes it a lot tougher. I have not managed to Robin Hood one of these yet, and I don't think you can. That's kind of the whole point of the steel insert, obviously. I have managed to dent a few of them, and I have broke one nock, and I will have to say it is a pain to get these knocks out, is my only complaint. And then my broadhead will be the G5 Mega Meat for just about anything I go after. I've shot a lot of expandables over the years, and I started noticing, if you watch the podcast, you know I have the worst luck when it comes to bow hunting. I've not been able to kill one yet with a bow, and I will change that this year. I am 100% going to change that this year, but I say that every year, so we'll see. But 100 grain G5 Mega Meat up front, and like I said, I've shot the Rages, Grim Reapers, and I've shot a few other brands, and whenever I use their test broadheads, none of them out at longer distance, like 40 plus, are as accurate as these Mega Meats practice heads have been. And I don't know if that's because the Mega Meat test doesn't have any fake blades to slow it down or change the trajectory, but that's just something I've noticed over the past 6 years of shooting, is that those seem to be the most accurate in my setup, especially this year. This year, I will be running the Matthews Phase 4. Now, this is last year's. At this time, this is last year's model bow. I picked it up on Black Friday, and I had a few reasons. I went in and I shot a Hoyt VTM 33, and I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed the Matthews, which has been a common thing for me over the years. I've shot a couple different bow brands. I've owned a couple different bow brands. I've shot just about all of them. But I've owned a G5, but it was really old, so I won't hold anything against G5 for its performance. I owned a Bear. I had the VXR 29, and that's when I found out I really didn't like short axle-to-axle bows. And then I had Bass Pro had the Redhead brand bows. The Chronic XT was the one I had. And it wasn't bad, but for some reason I just got to where I couldn't shoot it. And I don't know if it was me. I know I had a lot of problems out of that bow. Cams coming loose. I took it in the one day because I thought it was out of tune, and the archery shop told me, like, your cam was about to come off. Like, it was finger tight on one of the screws. So that was when I was like, okay, I need a new bow. But we'll run through the specs. I'm shooting 27.5-inch draw length. I know, I have incredibly short arms. It's ridiculous. Thanks, Dad. But this year, I'm running a 27.5-inch draw length at 70 pounds out of the Phase 4 33-inch axle-to-axle. This is my first longer axle-to-axle bow. Like I said, I had the VXR 29, didn't enjoy it past like 30 yards because I started getting really shaky. And some people really enjoy the 29, shoot very good with them. I didn't. So I decided when I picked up the Phase 4 that I was going to go with a 33. And it also just felt better to shoot than the 29 did, once again. Let's see. I guess we'll start from the top and go down. So the sight I'm running this year is the Trophy Ridge Switch single pin. And I've always been a fan of Trophy Ridge. Once again, affordable. You get what you pay for. I had a Trophy Ridge React 1 Pro, and I really liked that sight. The only problem was that it was so heavy that it made it, once you took it off the bow, it felt like a completely different bow altogether, just because of how much lighter it was. It was insane. So went back to Trophy Ridge. I went to True Glow for a little bit last year, and I really liked it until it broke. And I said, I'm not doing that again. I'm going to go back to Trophy Ridge. I really do enjoy how small this sight housing is. I've never had a smaller sight housing, and now that I have, I don't want to have a bigger one ever again. I feel like it just helps me focus a little better. I got my sight tape set up. It's going out from 20 out to 99, but I got some playroom at the bottom for, I feel like I could probably get 103, 104 out of it if I was capable of doing it, which that is a future video that I'm planning on doing, seeing where if I max this sight out, where I'm hitting. So we'll see if I can even pull that off. I'm running the QAD Ultra Rest Hunter, which is a drop away that I've ran for probably 4.5 years. As soon as I switched from the G5 to the Bear bow I had, I decked that bow out and I put a QAD Ultra Rest Hunter. Now this is not the same one. Whenever I sold my VXR, it went with it, but it's the same type of drop away. I do prefer a drop away over a whisker biscuit just for that little bit of accuracy you get out of it. I know I've seen plenty of guys that can shoot 70, 80 yards with a whisker biscuit and do just fine, and that's great. I have nothing against a whisker biscuit, especially for beginners, ease of use, everything like that, but I personally like my dropaways. Going down, we have a Redline 12-inch stabilizer up front with 8 ounces up front. I do like a little heavier front bar. I am also a big Redline fan. I do like how they're kind of middle of the road, a quality product, and it is something that I will always support, is something that is cheaper but works as good. The reason I say that is they are actually, if you didn't know, the Phase 4 has the bridge lock system. I believe it was the first bow that had the bridge lock system. And my issue and why I didn't buy bridge lock stabilizers is I cannot justify it to myself to spend $500 to $600 on stabilizers. That is ridiculous. I mean, I get it brings everything in. There's a lot of engineering that goes into it, and they have to charge what they have to charge. But what I will also say is Redline, I believe on June 1st, is supposed to be coming out with a bridge lock stabilizer. So I'm really excited to look into that and see how they work. And I will probably end up getting at least a front bar, if not a back bar. Speaking of back bars, by the way, both of these are on just a cheap Amazon quick disconnect. If you can't tell it's cheap, well, look at me fight it. All right, I'm done fighting it for now. Screw it. You know what a quick disconnect is. My back bar is as well. It comes out a little easier. 6-inch, what are these even called? This is a Tsunami carbon stabilizer that I got off of Amazon. I'm running about a 4 degree down, 4 degree to the left, maxed out. All the way over is how I like to run my back bars. But it is all, that's a personal thing, so it doesn't really matter how I run it. If you want to run a back bar, you just kind of have to shoot it in, see what you like, see what makes you hold the best. Once again, back bar adapter is also a cheap one from Amazon because they all do the same thing. And I would highly recommend looking at actual reviews of these things because I was able to find this for a quarter of the price of other back bars that are out there. Oh, something I forgot to mention, I am also running the UltraView B-Reel grip. Now this is the first model of the B-Reel grip. It is not the Gen 2, but I have really enjoyed running the B-Reel grip just because that Engage, I believe it's the Engage grip that was on these bows. I hate how rounded that is. I've shot older Matthews, and I don't know why they changed the grips up so much. Their old grips were so nice. And then now it's so thin, and I just feel like I don't have any real control. Whereas with this grip, you have your nice thick square to put up against your palm, and it really feels like it just sits out there better. So I've really enjoyed that. Release should be the last thing. My release for the past 3 years has been the Carter Wise Choice button activated. I've carried it for a few reasons. I had and still have, a Carter Evolution Plus. And for those of you that don't know, that is a true back tension release. So you hold the safety, pull, get into your anchor, let go, pull, 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 pull. And once you build up enough pressure, it'll fire. I enjoyed that. I think it's really good for practicing, and in my case, it's for whenever I get a bout of target panic. The reason I went with the Wise Choice for the button is because it is the same footprint as the Evolution Plus. So I don't have to worry about, is my point of impact going to be the same? Do I need to retune or something stupid just to get over a bout of target panic, which I am known to go through. So that has been my whole reasoning behind that. Set super light. And that's how I like to run it, so that way I can actually anchor even with the thumb button. Just pull, 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 and it'll go off. As you can kind of see in the videos that I took earlier when I got home from work. But that is just my preference. I do prefer to run a thumb button also, because I don't want to be in a situation where a deer is at 20 yards and I'm sitting there and I'm stuck just pull, 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 and it won't go off. Because I do feel like I do get long holds sometime with that Evolution Plus. But with this one, if I feel like it's not activating, I just have to put the lightest bit of pressure and it'll set this trigger off. And honestly, at 20 yards, I've tested just in case something was to happen. My trigger is set light enough to where by the time, if I'm honestly doing what I'm supposed to, get it set, and I just push that trigger instead of, I could still slam it and cause an issue, but if I just squeeze the trigger instead of slamming it, or instead of doing a correct pull, if I just nice, slow, even pressure, squeeze it off, the point of impact is the same. But I still try to execute a proper shot when I'm shooting, so that way it is muscle memory, which I believe we should all do and try to strive for a surprise shot. But I do believe that that is it for today's video. This is my full setup. This is what I'll be running through archery, whether I go deer, turkey. I'm trying to put in for a tag in Kentucky for elk, which I am really hopeful that I can get one. That would be awesome, because I've never even got to go elk hunting before, because they're not in Indiana. So we're going to try to get in for that and see what we can do. The only thing I might change is maybe a little heavier arrow, and I don't know that I would run the Mega Meat on something as big as an elk. I might, I'm not sure. I would want to do a lot more research, but for whitetail, I'm not concerned at all for what that arrow will do. Pronghorn, anything like that, I would trust that arrow to do its job. But yeah, that is my basic setup for my Mathews Phase 4. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what we can do better, whether that be on the podcast, whether that be on one of these videos. Your all's interactions really help us learn and grow. So I hope that you all will continue to also be patient, because we are still learning. But that is it. See y'all later.